the theme that we saw, not just in 2020, but also in 2019, is the domination of the giant cap tech. And sure enough, this week, we really were impressed with Google and Amazon. And let's not slight Amazon. I know the stock didn't respond the way some investors want, but they had a lights out quarter. But Google, that was really interesting to see such a large giant tech cap name move up nearly 10% yesterday. So by and large, I guess my point is, yes, I am impressed with Google. I know we're all looking for Super Bowl Sunday, but we had our Super Bowl this week. And when you see Google and Amazon make up about 15% of the NASDAQ 100, that makes me optimistic that we can see the NASDAQ, we can see that tech leadership move higher. But when we look at a technical perspective, we are seeing a little bit of relative strength weaken in technology. So it makes a lot of sense in the world to book some profits, to maybe move that rotation trade and bring it front and center where you can trim that exposure. Look at XLK. If you're long XLK, you can trim some of that exposure. We are seeing a lot of the blue chip names. We call them the essential names. We are seeing them get some love, specific in the industrial sector.
All right, can we dig into the technical side of the technology trade? Because there has been more of a rotation even within technology. You mentioned Amazon and Alphabet. Amazon had a banner year last year. We know why. The pandemic, people shopped more, people used more web services. But Alphabet was a real laggard last year. Now it's up massively to start the year. Is it just this idea that there's a catch-up trade in play? And is that going to drive the technology narrative in 2021?
I think that's a piece of the puzzle. When you look at Apple, when you look at Microsoft, certainly in comparison to Google, Google was up about 30% on a one-year perspective, where you saw Apple up about 75%. So there is a little bit of a catch-up trade there, no doubt about it. But I think when you really drill down on the Google earnings, it's talking about YouTube. I know my 7-year-old daughter has done her fair share of watching YouTube videos during the pandemic, but YouTube went up 50%. So maybe there's a spin-off opportunity inside of Google. It's really interesting to see how Google started hitting on all cylinders as they were kind of forgotten about. The euphoria around Apple and Facebook and Amazon certainly was something that I think we do see a catch-up trade, but also it's just the diversity of Google's business. I think they have so many businesses under their umbrella. Let's call them Alphabet. I know we don't like to call them Alphabet, but look at all the plethora of companies inside of that, and that's been the driving force.
What's the thing that worries you the most about what's happening in the market right now? We've mentioned the short squeeze stocks. We've mentioned some dislocations in the market because of things like the IPOs that are coming to market and the special purpose acquisition companies and maybe signs of froth there. What's the thing that has people like you, traders, worried about the continued upside in the market?
Well, it's the Fed policy component. If there's a potential mistake in Fed policy, I know there's been some Fed presidents speaking about where rates are going. I believe Fed Chairman Powell continues to articulate the fact that we're going to see low interest rates. I've seen the 10-year yield move up in the last couple of days. I also have concern about the U.S. dollar index. Highest it's been in over a month. Look at back above 91. So that could be a short-term headwind. But bigger picture, Dom, I think that ripple, that big, large stone that was thrown in the pond and caused all the ripples from GameStop, from AMC, I think that is starting to calm down. But you have to take note. That was one of the largest volatility, intraday volatility moves. We saw the VIX move up over 60% in that day. So there are reverberations. We're still digesting, but we're going to get back front and center talking about blue chip names. We're also going to be talking about Fed policy. And more importantly, we're going to talk about what the administration will be focused on from a spending perspective as well as infrastructure.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.